Hello, everyone. This is Adam with Fear No Evil, back with another Saturday security tip. And I mentioned before that we're going to talk about the value of protection dogs. And we've got one roaming around the background. Um, it's not going to hurt this video, right? So the idea for this video came from a recent headline where a local family was protected from a fire. Their dog realized there was a fire going on in their dwelling and started alerting them, and they were protected because they had a dog in their home. And so that's a good thing, and it kind of spurred my desire to do this video. So all dogs, even little yappy ankle biters, have some protection value. That's not really where my interest lies. When I was a kid, my grandfather had two dogs. He had a Rottweiler and a Lhasa Apso or something like that. And that little one didn't count. I was all about the Rottweiler. And since then, I've had a bias towards large, powerful dogs, protection dogs. But they're all good. So if you've got a Yorkie or a Chihuahua or something like that, something that's definitely not my taste, they can still be of value. They can alert you to a fire. They can alert you to approaching intruders and other dangers, and even run off dangerous animals. I think it was a French bulldog. I saw a video one time. This bear was approaching somebody's house, and a French bulldog ran it off. And so even a little dog can protect you from big danger. So my interest, though, is in dogs that can provide physical protection from an attacker or a home invader. If you're tuned into this channel on a regular basis, probably what you're interested in also. So I'm not a canine professional. Don't play one on TV. If you want online professional help with training, I'd recommend Stony Dennis and Joel Beckman. Check out their channels. So Stony Dennis is basically how to lay a good foundation, and Joel Beckman basically deals with what to do if you didn't lay a good foundation and you have problems that you need to address. Both of those are really good channels and very informative if you want to learn more about training. If you're looking for a good quality protection dog, check out Cook Farm Kennels in Brown Summit, North Carolina. That's where we got our Dutch Shepherd. If we were in the market for a German Shepherd, there's a great local kennel, Cross Keys Canine in Williamstown, New Jersey. So if you're in the Philadelphia area and looking for a German Shepherd, I definitely recommend you check out Cross Keys Canine. So as I said, I'm not a dog professional. I'm an armed security professional, pistol instructor, active shooter response instructor, and was a home security advisor for ADT, where I sold and installed alarm systems for ADT. And Fear No Evil focuses on physical protection services with an emphasis on home security. So with all that being said, even though I believe in guns and alarm systems, I want to tell you about the value of a good protection dog and how they can be even better than an alarm system or a gun. Yeah, I said that. So I have 10 things, 10 examples that we'll talk about today of how what the value of a good protection dog is. And the first thing is, they don't have normalcy bias. Remember the last video we put out talking about Joab sneaking up on Amasa, and Amasa just had, Joab was pretending that everything was normal, so Amasa went along with it because of his normalcy bias. That's our tendency to be confronted with conflicting information, and for us to go with the safe and normal information and say, oh, that was nothing. That wasn't a gunshot, that was a car backfiring. Or he doesn't really want to kill me. He's asking about my health and trying to be friendly, so let me just go with that set of information. Dogs don't have normalcy bias. They have the very opposite of normalcy bias. It's not in their nature to say, oh, everything's fine, at least for a protection dog. Your golden retriever, maybe. But a good protection dog has the opposite of normalcy bias. To them, everything is potential danger, and they're going to check it out and make sure everything's okay. So that's the first advantage of a protection dog. They don't have normalcy bias. That's a good advantage. The second thing is they can detect deception and evil intent before you can. So if my dog doesn't like you, I don't like you. They can pick up on things that people can't. So had Amasa had a good protection dog by his side when Joab was approaching him and trying to act like he was a friend, the dog would have picked up on that and would have let Amasa know, hey, you got some serious trouble here, and would probably went on with a good threat display and tried to deter Joab from approaching. So they can detect deception and evil intent before you can. And you know what else is good about protection dogs? They're not distracted by the news or the stock market or their sports team losing or a rough day at the office. They're just not distracted by the things that we're distracted by. So even if you are the primary protector of your home or yourself when you're out and about, you might be distracted. But your dog, if you have a protection dog, it's their primary duty to make sure you're safe and everything's squared away in your immediate vicinity. So they're not going to get distracted. Something else, fourth thing, they will react to an approaching threat before your alarm system. So I sold and installed these ADT alarm systems, and they're not going to go off until somebody actually lays hands on your house, until they start rattling a window or trying to kick in a door. Then the alarm's going to go off. But the dog is looking out way ahead, even off of your property sometimes, looking for things that might be a threat, might be a danger, and things that they need to warn off. So one day, I was working out. I was getting ready to work out, so I was doing some farmer's carries with a kettlebell. So I was doing laps around the inside of the house, carrying this kettlebell around. And so, obviously, I'm the primary defender of the home, but I was busy doing something else. And while I was away from the front window, our Cane Corso, Italian Mastiff, picked up on an approaching threat. Two guys that were absolute thugs, totally set my creep meter off. They were up to no good for sure. These two guys were approaching our front door, and our Cane Corso picked up on that. And so she put her face up in the front window and had a very distinct conversation with these guys and told them quite clearly they were not welcome and that they needed to turn around and go somewhere else. And that is what they did. They saw her up in the window barking at them, and they said, nope, we're out of here. We don't want anything to do with that Mastiff. And so one of the great things about a protection dog is they can pick up on things before your alarm system can. They can also provide open deterrence that your gun cannot. Whether or not you believe in guns, even if you do, some people open carry, and there's laws against brandishing at times. The point is, you just can't wave a gun around anytime you feel threatened, right? That can get you put in jail, and so your dog can be an open deterrent, even when your gun cannot. So one time there was we were in another state and kids were homeschooled, and the guy from the school board evidently didn't get the memo that our kids were homeschooled and that they weren't any of his business. So he showed up at our doorstep with a truancy officer, and they were trying to ask questions about, hey, what's going on? Why aren't your kids in school? And at one point, one of the guys was talking about coming into my house, which they had no right to do. And then when I looked and said, oh, they got a German Shepherd in there, we can't go in that house. So they can provide an open deterrent that your gun cannot. Had somebody waved the gun or threatened these guys with a gun, which I don't advocate, that would have been criminal. But the dog, it took care of that for us. What else? They can wake you up and come to your side, unlike a gun. So if somebody's breaking into your house, your Glock's not going to fly out of the safe and tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, buddy, we got a problem. Let's go deal with it. But your dog can do that. So that is a major advantage over a gun. Your gun's not going to fly into your hand and say, hey, all right, well, let's go take care of business. But your dog can do that for you. Another major advantage over an alarm system, they can instill fear of immediate unpleasant consequences that an alarm system's not going to do. So an alarm goes off and the intruder knows, hey, I got some time. Either, maybe this will wake the homeowner up, maybe they'll do something, or maybe the cops will show up in 5, 10, 20 minutes. But for now, I'm okay. But if they kick the door in and they're confronted by your angry Rottweiler, they are immediately in fear. Hey, there's an angry dog that knows I don't belong and is probably going to hurt me and cause me physical pain and damage and maybe something worse. So your alarm system's not going to do that, but a dog will. That's the value of good protection dog. They also work even when the power's out or you're incapacitated. So some alarm systems, if there's no power, there's no alarm. Or maybe you're incapacitated because you were hit on the head with a baseball bat, or you tripped and busted your head trying to respond, or some way you got incapacitated during this emergency. Well, your dog is still there. Doesn't matter if the power's out. Doesn't matter if you're incapacitated. Your dog is still going to work to protect you and your family and your property. Also, they can protect you from dangerous animals. That's the 9th thing. So, like I mentioned, that French bulldog running off a bear. So my daughter took our Dutch Shepherd out one night off leash, which normally isn't a problem, but at this time there was a fox in the yard, and she proceeded to run that fox down at least a mile. It took us over an hour to find her, but I guarantee that fox went to all its friends and said, "Do not go to that property. It is not safe." Fox probably wasn't dangerous to us, but just an example. One time, another dog alerted me to a snake in the area where I was living. I wasn't familiar with the snakes. I didn't know whether that was venomous or not. But I was in the house doing something, and I heard the dog barking, and it was a totally different kind of bark. And she was barking in the wrong direction. Normally, she barked out, facing out of the yard. But this time she was barking in a different direction, and it sounded totally different than anything I'd heard before. So I knew something was going on. So I got up to investigate, and come to find out there was a snake on the premises that she was protecting us from. So they can protect you from dangerous animals. And the last thing, 10th thing I'll mention for now, is they can allow you to relax and be less vigilant at home. We talk about Cooper's color codes of awareness and always being in condition yellow, not being in condition white. And as an armed security professional, I'm always kind of switched on, especially when if I'm out and about or if I'm on duty. I'm looking for trouble. I'm ready to respond. But when I come home, I can kind of relax and chill out some, because I know I've got a Italian Mastiff and a Dutch Shepherd here that they're just looking for a reason to bark at something and to deter and alarm us. So they're on duty. They allow me to be able to relax, and they can do that for you too. So those are 10 reasons why a good protection dog is valuable. There's different ways that they're valuable. They could be a great help to you. So I hope that's been helpful to you. The next time we talk about dogs, we'll talk about traits of a good protection dog. So come back for that. And if there's any other way I can help you stay safe, contact me at fearnoevil.us.